Hello Earth signs, welcome to my channel. My name's Charlotte. I am new to YouTube, so I'm posting my first bunch of videos broken down by the elemental signs today. So for earth, air, water and fire. And I am reading just the Twin Flame Collective. I've been guided to do this for a while now. I've been a tarot reader for 20 years. But recently connected with a new spirit guide called Arthur. He's a lovely chap. And he has encouraged me to get on YouTube and specifically to read for the Twin Flame Collective. Now, I am a Twin Flame myself, so I do understand this journey, understand ups and downs and the healing, the learning, the separation, you know, and all the different stages. I've been on this journey for about 4 years myself. Only realised about a year ago that I was actually a Twin Flame and kind of began to understand what was happening. I'm really excited anyway to support this community in any which way I can, and I feel like with my skills in tarot, this is how I'm best placed to serve you. So please do help a new girl out, like, share and subscribe. I will be doing these readings and energy updates for both Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine at least monthly, but I will be doing more readings each week. So if there's anything in particular you would like me to read about, please do comment down below so that I can get a feel for what you need the most. So if you're interested in the decks I'm using, you can find that information in the box below. And I do offer private one-on-one readings too. The information for that is also down below. I will be doing a special kind of introductory offer for the first month or so, just while I get to know you guys so that we can, you know, hopefully work more closely together and I can really start supporting you as best I can. So take a look at that down below. So let's get started. So this is a reading for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine for the energies surrounding you both the month of February 2019. Now this is a timeless reading, so if you have found it at a later date, just trust that you were meant to find it now and that it is relevant to you now. Obviously, it's a collective reading, so it's not going to resonate with everybody. But I felt that by breaking it down into elemental signs, you know, we could reach more people with some accuracy. So hopefully you do find this helpful. So I'm going to look at both energies. So if you're an earth sign, then this is for you, the viewer. It doesn't matter if you're the Divine Masculine on the left or the Feminine on the right. I'm going to read for both anyway, but this is specifically for the viewer as an earth sign. If your rising or moon sign is in water or air, one of the others, maybe watch those videos as well. They could really resonate too. Or perhaps you're a cuspian like me, I'm water and fire. So, you know, if more than one is relevant to you, then you go ahead and watch those. And let me know in the comments if you find them useful. So let's get started. If I pause and you hear these silences, it's probably because I'm channeling something from Arthur. So please be patient with me if you hear me just kind of drift off. These same cards actually came up for the water signs. Quite a few of them actually, that's really uncanny. And that one. This is so crazy. If you do resonate with both earth and water, please go and watch the video for water signs, because honestly, it's actually quite spooky how many of these cards came up in very similar positions. Yeah, mad things. Okay. So starting at the top with our two significators, these give us an idea of where our divine masculine and feminine are at. So this is the divine masculine on the left, and here we have the Knight of Wands. Now, when I did this reading for waters, both of these cards came up. And this one is actually twins. I didn't connect with that when I did the water signs, but this is the Olsen twins. So, you know, that's a really powerful card to come up. But there's two people in this card as well. And, you know, in the Knight of Wands, we're seeing a lot of spiritual energy and movement. I feel like after this blood moon eclipse, this has been a powerful time for a lot of us. But we're seeing the divine masculine now really stepping into this twin flame spiritual energy. And I feel like this is a beginning step for him. These are baby steps. He has perhaps, I mean, if you're the divine masculine watching, I'm feeling that you're perhaps, if not new to this journey, new to your understanding of it, you're perhaps just beginning to acknowledge that you are on a spiritual journey with this person, that there is, you know, more than meets the eye in terms of this connection. And you're really starting to open your eyes and embrace the spirituality. For the divine feminine here, we have the Five of Swords in reverse, and I feel like she's tired. You know, if things have been fractious between the masculine and the feminine recently, which my gut feeling is they have, you know, she's tired, and she's kind of, she just doesn't want to be on, she doesn't want them to be all up in her head about it now. So, you know, it's really good to see that whilst you may be in separation, and you're done with this kind of quarrelling and rejection. I'm getting a lot of rejection here. You're done with this kind of up and down and around, feeling left out in the cold. You know, the divine masculine here, he is stepping up to the plate. So we've also got the divine masculine with the Ten of Swords reversed here, in terms of his past energies, and I feel like he's been very resistant to facing the upheaval, the emotional trauma and the difficulties that have been prevalent in the relationship. And we can see here that he's very much in this Eight of Swords energy, or has been, which is really blocking things out, refusing to see or acknowledge how things are, really, you know, not in the best of places, even though he's, you know, finding his spiritual way. I really feel like he is avoiding a lot of this work right now. He doesn't want to, you know, 10 upright, even though this is still a really difficult card, 10 at least brings us some completion. It allows us to put these issues to bed. And I feel like with this Eight of Swords in his past energy, he's very much been blocking that progress. The divine feminine, you know, she's kind of blocked as well. She knows she needs to step back onto this journey. And I feel like even though she is focused on this twin flame union, as I said, this is, you know, this is the twin card. It's the Olsen twins. She's in a much more grounded place, and she's really wanting to take her time with it, to ease herself back in. I feel like she's stepped away from this situation temporarily because of this, you know, reversed Five of Swords energy of not being able to move on from that rejection and that heartache that has come in her direction from this connection with her twin flame. And with the Eight of Cups in reverse, I feel like she's not quite ready to step back into this journey. She's also been avoiding it. So we do have some kind of avoidance here, even though I feel like the divine feminine is a little bit ahead of the game in terms of her understanding and the work she's done. You know, she's definitely not ready to get back onto this solo journey. I feel like she's really reeling from this rejection here, and that she's struggling to find her kind of her way again. In the present energies, we've got a much more calm place for the divine masculine. You know, Temperance sees him really starting to step into this much more balanced and spiritual place. And with the Page of Cups, even though this is still quite an immature energy, you know, he's ready to reach out. He's ready to start communicating at a much more emotional level, rather than being all up in his head with these swords. And he's definitely ready to start kind of reaching out and reassuring his divine feminine. the Divine Feminine, you know, I feel like she's actually focused on much more practical affairs. This card actually cropped up for the water signs, and it was our Divine Masculine that was focused on his earthly affairs and, you know, his abundance. But I feel like part of the reason the Divine Feminine has been reluctant to kind of get back on her twin flame path and continue doing this work is that she's trying to do what the Divine Masculine is actually trying to reject. She's trying to be a lot more sensible and pragmatic about this. She's trying to be a lot more mature when it comes to practicality. Because I feel like this whole rejection has perhaps knocked her for six, and it's had an impact on other areas of her life. And I feel like with these cards, with the Ten of Pence and the Queen of Swords, she's really trying to readdress that balance and to focus on her own affairs and to focus on, you know, regaining that stability and that abundance and to take care of herself. Now, the connecting energy with both of these, neither of these cards are part of a normal tarot deck. They're bonus cards in this deck. You know, in terms of the connecting energies to the past, we've got this, you know the drill. And I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory, this card. Both parties know that they need to do this work. You know, the Divine Masculine has stepped in to his spiritual power now. I feel like he is at the beginning of that journey, but he's figured it out. He's realizing that there's something deeper going on than what he first considered. And the Divine Feminine, she's very much in the know. So there's a connecting energy. You know, I do see this as an acknowledgement from both parties that, you know, that they're beginning to understand that this journey is going to need a lot of work from them individually, so that they can, you know, move towards union. In terms of the I don't know her card, you know, we've got Mariah Carey here, and the story of this card actually relates to when Mariah was asked in an interview. I'm just going to check you can see this actually, because I nudged the camera. Yes, you can just about see it. Okay, great. So, when she was asked in an interview, she was about a kind of public argument she'd had with another celebrity. Her response was very dignified. It was, I don't know her. And she chose not to be drawn into this kind of, what's the word? Yeah, public argument. She wanted to hold her centered, balanced energy. There is an 8 at the top of this card, the Infinity 8 on its side. And I feel like as a connecting energy, you know, this is very much about our twin flames actually really focusing on themselves right now, focusing on their own work, their own healing, and not completely abandoning the twin flame journey, but very much being in this place of, you know, I need to heal myself right now. That's where my focus is. And, you know, the 8 shows us that, you know, they will come back to this journey, but right now they need this time, especially the Divine Feminine. You know, with the Knight of Pentacles here, you know, this is definitely trumped by the Queen of Swords. Even though she's trusting in this journey, she's not ready to step back into it yet. She's really very much focused on her own affairs, focused on herself, taking care of herself. And, you know, we're seeing the same with the Divine Masculine. He knows he's got to do this work, but he's blocking that. And even though he's moving into a much more balanced place, he's beginning to think about reaching out, reconnecting, and, you know, reassuring her that he still cares. Neither party is quite ready to do that. They're both standing in their own power and trying to work things out for themselves. So moving forward, you know, the Divine Masculine, he's very much now beginning to work on this stuff here, this avoidance, this drama. I feel like he's really been through the mill, and we see him now beginning with the Ace of Swords to open up and to step into his own power. This came up in almost the same position for the Divine Masculine of the water signs. And it's a really powerful card. You know, this is him beginning to manifest everything he needs and wants so that he can move forward, so that he can begin unraveling all of this trauma, to begin understanding, communicating and healing, and really coming to that from a place of real strength and, you know, with all the tools and skills that he needs. Whereas our Divine Feminine, you know, I actually see her rejecting her spirituality, not her spirituality, but the twin flame element of it. And as I said, it's still there for her, but she's not focused on this right now. You know, she's very driven, but she's driven to work independently. She's driven to do her own work, to focus on this stability and this grounded, secure, stable, practical, earthly affairs that she's trying to work through right now. So the connecting energy here is the Four of Cups, which again, I feel like it's both parties saying, you know, we have our own healing to do. We're not focused on this twin flame journey right now. We haven't forgotten it. You know, there's definitely still affection and desire there, but there's a greater need for each party to go within and to do their own work. And that's what we're seeing here with this connecting energy in the Four of Cups. They know what they need to do, but you know, they're trying not to dwell on the other party. They're trying to focus on their own stuff. So I feel like overall, you know, this is very positive. It's not positive if you're looking for an immediate union, if you're desperate for communication, but you know, you've got to take the higher perspective with this. You've got to realize that you can't come into union until you've done this work individually. And what's really important is this work is happening. You know, the divine masculine is a little bit slower to the party. He's been avoiding that work, as we can see here, but he's ready to begin. You know, he's moving into this place of making that start. And the divine feminine, she's a lot more ahead of the game, but you know, she is finding her strength. I see a lot of strength in her side of things. She's really focused on healing herself, which is frankly where she needs to be, where the divine masculine needs to be as well. So let's have a look. I'm going to choose some more tarot cards from these so we can look at what each party needs to do to, you know, to really step into their own power and help move things forward. What advice do the cards have for you in terms of actually making this journey a successful one for both? Wow. Okay. Right. So the divine masculine, okay, he's really not, I mean, we knew this already, but he's really not focused on union right now. And actually he doesn't need to be. In order for him to move forward, he really needs to step into this journey. This is what we're seeing with this Ace of Wands, this new beginning, with this mental clarity, this mental awareness, you know, with processing everything that's gone before so that he can really make sense of things. And, you know, being in union isn't going to serve him at that time. So I'm sorry, Twin Flames, if that's not what you wanted to hear. But the divine masculine really needs to do his own work. And that is an inside job. You know, that's a solo journey. And we see that here. But I think it's interesting, you know, in the Fool, he does have a companion and he's got this loyal friend here. And, you know, I'm really feeling like he knows that his divine feminine is behind him, that she's trusting, she's waiting and she's loyal to him. But he does need to take this journey with a clean slate, which he can't do until he's done all this swords work, all this work in straightening his head out and getting himself back into a good place. You know, the Magician does come after the Fool. So I feel like, you know, in terms of what he needs to do, he needs to just take that step because he's got all the skills he needs. Everything he needs and wants to be able to move forward, he has already. He just has to be bold enough to take that step. And I really feel like that's coming. For the divine feminine, we have the Three of Wands and Judgment. And, you know, this is a very... this is very much about her own journey. You know, with the Three of Wands, I feel like spiritually she's moved into a really healthy, good place. All of that work she's been doing has kind of paid off and she's much more balanced and calm with it. You know, she's already had her awakening. She's much further ahead in this journey than the divine masculine. And she really needs to focus on herself and understand too that when she does that work, it benefits both. You know, threes is about teamwork as well, the Three of Wands. And when she does that work, on herself, when she embraces her awakening and really steps into her own power, she's going to be helping that divine masculine move forward in his journey too, because spiritually our higher selves are always connecting. You know, they're always talking to one another and moving another along that journey, whether you're in 3D communication or not. So, you know, the divine feminine really does need to focus on her own journey too, and trust that she's come so far and that the work she's doing is definitely helping her male counterpart move forward with his. As a connecting energy, we've got this Queen of Cups card. And, you know, this really speaks of, you know, still holding that affection, that kindness, that love, that support. You don't have to be in contact to have that for each other, you know, to be cheering each other along and supporting one another. You can send those thoughts of love, care, affection, support, loyalty, and, you know, you can hold that space between you in the interim whilst you're both doing this really important work. That's really lovely. Really nice cards to come up. I feel like you earth signs, I mean, you're obviously very grounded and much more practical than the water signs we did before, but you are being called to allow your emotions, you know, don't ignore them, allow them. I feel like the divine masculine is, you know, doing that. If it wasn't his natural state, he's definitely doing it now. Oh, this card comes up such a lot for everyone lately. Wow. Higher power. Right. So this is really interesting that this come up for the divine masculine. So even though you're being called not to move towards a union, this is also a 2. Yeah. You can still allow yourself to visualize, imagine, daydream, and start planning that future. Just because you're not ready to step into it doesn't mean you can't enjoy imagining how it's going to be. And this actually helps you out. Visualization is a very powerful way of manifesting. And, you know, if you're stepping into this magician energy where you're learning to manifest your desires, you know, imagining what it is you want just reaffirms to the universe how they can support you. You know, if you're not visualizing, if you're not dedicating time to being focused on your goals, to being focused on where you're headed and what you want out of this, then you're not going to get that support from your guides. They need to understand and know what it is that you're visualizing, what it is you want to manifest. Once they see that, they can actually help you move forward in that journey. So, you know, don't be sad that you can't be with her right now. You know, when you're feeling that way, devote that time instead to imagining all of the positive things that the future can hold for you and how you want that to look. The No Place Like Home card has come up in so many of my readings recently. I don't normally see this card a great deal, but it really has come up a lot. And I'm feeling like with the blood lunar eclipse that we've recently had, there's been a real push from the universe for us to really clear space. Okay, if you've not had a clear out post-Christmas, post-winter, you know, do that now. When you've got clutter and stuff around, it really, it doesn't allow stagnant energy to flow away and out. It's kind of holding it there. So you're really being called, divine masculine, especially to clear your space, clear your environment. Don't just do it physically and literally by removing clutter, clearing out your drawers, you know, reorganizing your wardrobe, getting rid of all the junk you didn't want. I'm actually seeing Arthur showing me piles of junk everywhere, stuff that you've been meaning to move out, and it doesn't serve you. It's really getting in the way. It's getting in your way spiritually. If you're, whatever your method of spiritually clearing space, like a proper spiritual cleanse, whether it's smudging, salt, using any healing energies, whatever your method, asking your guides to clear it for you, you really need to focus on your environment and make more room, because it's definitely holding you back. For the divine feminine, you know, we're asking her to keep a loyal heart. And there's a little key hanging from the banner here, and these owls, which represent wisdom, are in union. You know, they're both crowned with wisdom and union. And we're showing that this celebration is the key to moving forward. You know, celebrate how far you've come and stay loyal, stay in your own wisdom, because your divine masculine isn't that far behind you. And, you know, in all that glitters, we're showing the promise of what is to come. You know, so much abundance, so much happiness and joy I'm feeling from this card. So, you know, even though I know you're really, really focused on your, you know, practical and earthly affairs right now, you know, stay loyal, stay true to the cause. And this is a number 8. 3 and 5 together is 8, which again, the number of infinity. Stick with this because it will serve you and it will pay off. And, you know, in terms of all that glitters, this may be where you need to, you know, focus your attention now to manifest all of this practical earthly abundance that you're needing. But trust that there's more of that coming your way from every angle, including this twin flame journey. In the middle, we've got higher power, which is a number 4. And this is a much more balanced energy. And there are actually 2 people in this card. And this also came out for the water sign reading I did. And, you know, this is about that communication, that higher communication between your higher selves, that have been connected and balanced, even not when you're in physical union. So, you know that you can still share that love, affection, trust, and, you know, by visualizing and imagining and sending messages of love to one another, you know, communicating your loyal heart and your affection, you can really help your counterpart feel much more safe and secure and balanced in this journey, so that they've got the strength to continue. So if you're ever feeling, either one of you, you know, disconnected from your divine masculine or feminine, then trust that you can go within, that you can find that power within. You know, in this card, we really see this face in the angel's heart space, you know, in the thought. And again, there's another key in this. You know, this is the key to emotional balance, connectedness, and well-being. So, you know, don't dismiss this higher power. Use it to your advantage. Connect to it at leisure and at will, and know that you are always connected to your twin flame, no matter the 3D distance between you. Wow, this is so crazy. So many cards the same as the water. Literally identical. It's so bizarre. Okay. I'm going to choose one more. Again, it's so very strange to have the same cards come up. There's obviously a lot of synchronistic energies amongst the Twin Flame Collective right now, no matter your signs, because I'm just seeing this so often. It's actually spooky. Okay, so Arthur's telling me that that's actually right, that there are a lot of synchronicities within the twin flame journey right now, that a lot of people are actually going through very, very similar energies. And this has been created by this blood moon eclipse, which has, you know, forced us to confront. If we hadn't already, it's kind of cleared this way for us to actually start doing that work. So for those people that had been struggling through, you know, the last year, which astrologically was really tough, you know, now you're finding this motivation, this enthusiasm to actually move forward with your goals, to move forward with your desires. And he's showing me, you know, this is what I'm doing today in actually doing these readings. A lot of people are suddenly finding the impetus to actually make progress. And with our twin flame divine masculine, you know, that is where he's focused. And 3 and 6 is 9, you know, again, this is a solo journey. And, you know, he's going over and over this in his head. He's finding ways to make that progress. And 2 and 8 is the number of completion, 10. And that mental repetition, you know, that cycle of working through this and doing this work is going to get you the progress. So keep the faith, because, you know, I feel like you're finding it much easier now to step into this progressive attitude. And with the divine feminine, you know, we have another 6 here. 4 and 2 is 6 with unconditional love. And we see 2 people again, a masculine and feminine in this. And I think this really matches this loyal heart card. Hold that trust. I know you've been rejected. Yeah, I feel like it was the divine feminine has really taken a battering from her divine masculine recently. I feel like he has rejected her. And, you know, he may have needed to do that for his own reasons, but I don't think it's been communicated to her very well. And she, you know, she's reeling and hurt and shocked. But despite this, she is still in a good place. And these cards are asking you, please keep the faith. You know, unconditional love is there. But you have to give it to yourself, which you're doing. You've stepped into that power of loving self, but just trust that you can love your twin flame at the same time. And, you know, you do have this choice. You have this choice to transform and transmute that pain. And that's what we see her doing here. She's blowing these bubbles, and she's actually... Some of them have got kind of dreams inside them, and some of them have got storms. And I feel like this card is about releasing and transmuting energy. If it's positive, you can focus on it and conserve it. If it's negative, you can just blow it away and trust that it drifts away from you. But, you know, you do have a choice in how you deal with this hurt that's come from you. And I do feel like you're really stepping into a very mature perspective in terms of how you're dealing with it. And you need to stay there. This is all very positive stuff. So with the connecting energies here, we've got respect and transform. And, you know, there's been a lot of sevens in these sort of connecting numbers for the oracle cards come up. And I feel that's a much more independent number. And, you know, it's about respecting self. Each party has to respect themselves first and foremost. That's what this journey teaches us. To love ourselves first. That's why we mirror one another. That's why we're on this journey. You must not forget that. Respect yourself first and trust that transformation is coming and happening. 3 and 5 again is an 8. You know, this is a never-ending journey, and you're really being called upon to step into it now. And I feel like this blood moon eclipse has really cleared the way for us all to be able to do that. There are so many butterflies in this card. And, you know, this tree here, which is, you know, stuck in winter, this mental repetition. In this card, we see the progression of that with this tree being surrounded by butterflies and placed in this beautiful dome to be revered and to be admired, you know, so that you can really admire and appreciate and celebrate your progress. Transformation is happening all the time. So trust that it's, you know, it's a journey that will continue, and it will continue to serve you, and that change is positive and good for both of you, but it's self-work, okay? So let me know how I did, guys. Thank you, Earth signs, for watching, and I really hope that was helpful to you.